Gardner, in his third season as coach of the Weatherly Skyhawks T-ball team, has never been able to play baseball himself due to a bone disease known as osteogenesis imperfecta.
Now let's stay by side. Come on, Charlie. No, let's go. Up, put your gloves in. Up, let's go.
Not being able to participate in sports hasn't really handicapped the 25-year-old coach.
Well, I like to look at it more as an inconvenience. It's something that slows you down somewhat. I don't think the handicap or disability. I kind of shy away from those words, but they're words that people use a lot of times.
Why are you coaching baseball, T-ball?
Well, for one thing, I there's two things. Both of them have to do with love. One is the love for the game of baseball, and one's the love for kids. And you put the two together, this is basically what you come up with. Y'all ready? Let's go, hit it. Hit it.
Where's my glove?
Where's your glove? Right behind you.
Where's my glove?
Although Gardner, an engineer by trade, is only 3 feet 9, he looks at his size as a plus instead of a minus when it comes to coaching.
No, you're not out yet. It has some disadvantages, but I look at it as more advantages than disadvantages. People remember me. When they see me, they remember my team, and that can be some advantages to it in the long run.
Sunday night, another visit with Don Gardner, a little coach with a big heart. In Huntsville, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
Play ball!
All right. We doing it. Let's go.
No one sees the game of T-ball from a player's point of view better than Don Gardner, the 25-year-old 3'9" coach of the Weatherly Skyhawks. Gardner, afflicted with osteogenesis imperfecta, crippling bone disease, never had an opportunity to play his favorite sport, baseball.
Oh yeah, I'd have loved it. I think that's one of the reasons I'm doing this now. This is my chance to go back and do in my way, my participation in what I never got a chance to do.
What would you want to play?
I thought about that. I don't think I'd want to pitch. I ain't pressure too much. Coaching's pressure is bad enough. I don't really know what I thought about that a lot. Probably in the outfield. I just kind of like to blend in with the team concept. You know, not be the standout. Just kind of blend in and be part of the team.
Coaching is like everything else for Coach Gardner. He gives it his all and more.
Well, sometimes I wonder. I try to go for 110%. You know, give everything a little bit more. But I think I sometimes slip up sometimes. But I shoot for that 110%. That's the thing I go for. You got to set challenges. If everything's easy in life, you don't grow. You don't get anything out of it. So I like the every now and then it does you good to lose.
Don Gardner never said he was a Billy Martin or Joe Torre. He doesn't have to. People that know him, he's much more. In Huntsville, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
It seems like for almost as long as anyone can recall, the first Monday of the month, downtown Scottsboro has turned into a bargain hunter's paradise.
Those are regular $7. When we come out here, we sell them for the mail order price out here. I can sell you one of these for $4 or 2 for $7. Here's your same spot right here.
First Monday in Scottsboro is somewhat of a legend. It's here you can find a bit of everything. From a dancing man to a bicycle part, 50-cent pickles to $15 jeans, antique car tags to chiming chimes. Early century music to boiling fresh peanuts.
Kind of hot being boiled peanuts, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're still good.
Still good.
Still good. If you like boiled peanuts, you just like boiled peanuts.
First Monday has something for everybody. Dutch shoes, boxing gloves, even a picture of Stevie Wonder. Only $5 too.
One of the more unique items here at First Monday in Scottsboro probably has to be this. Yeah, you guessed it. It's a genuine oak toilet seat, and it's an antique. Sells for $10. It's got genuine brass hardware in it, and they tell me it is definitely used, and it does not come with a demonstration.
Even if you don't find something to suit your fancy, just to walk around the courthouse square might just be enough. In Scottsboro at First Monday, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. Susan Brown isn't exactly your average mother of two. What Susan does for a living is something some of you might consider a dirty occupation.
Okay, Amanda, y'all come on.
Before you get the wrong idea, Susan's job is seasonal, March to October and daylight hours only. Susan Brown is a professional mower of lawns, eater of weeds, and trimmer of hedges. Since she was 13, Susan has loved the outdoors. For the past 2 years, she and her husband Jimmy, who helps her when he's not working his regular job, have been contracting real estate houses, businesses, and private homes. It's a job Susan can take her kids with her and enjoy working at the same time.
I love it. It's the closest thing to nature. I mean, people can look, some people think that there's not a God, but to look at all the pretty grass and trees and stuff around you, there's hard to doubt that there's not a God. And being out here, I know it, and I love it. You get some yards that's maybe knee-high or so, and when you go to first to do them, you think, oh man, how come so high? And then after you get through cutting it and you see how pretty it is, then you know, it makes you proud. It makes you kind of want to take the yard and hug them, so to speak.
Susan Brown lives by the slogan, dirt and grass don't scare us, dirty hands we don't mind. At the rate they're going, the Browns may be in business for a while.
Susan Brown was a bank teller for 4 years. She didn't like it. She said she'd much rather be cutting the green than counting it. And by the way, she does have a bank as a client. In Florence, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. Name one nationally competitive event that until the 4th of July had never been held east of the Mississippi River. Well, don't feel bad if you don't know. If I hadn't have been there, I wouldn't have known myself. And I ain't just whistling Dixie. The event, the first annual Southern Regional Whistle-Off, held in Albertville as part of their Freedom Day celebration, was the first of its kind ever held in the East. The winner of the Whistle-Off to go to Carson City, Nevada to compete in the World International Whistle-Off. Each contestant, only a handful had the courage to enter, had 3 to 5 minutes to entertain the crowd with their whistling ability. When the time had come to choose a winner, the best tuner of the day turned out to be a bedtime storyteller. Well, winner Bob Gunn of the first annual Whistle-Off, what's your chances in Carson City? That good, huh?
Ah, yes.
At the first annual Whistle-Off in Albertville, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. Let's do that one more time. Charles Woody operates the pro shop at Twin Lakes Golf Course in Arab. Now, Woody's been known to shoot around or a golf from time to time, and admittedly, he's no Jack Nicklaus. But he does do something even the Golden Bear would have a hard time competing with.
What do you want me to play?
Left my heart alone.
Hit it.
Wish you could have turned my head and left my heart alone.
Charles Woody isn't necessarily noted for his singing. His fame lies in the instrument he plays, a Prince Albert can. The 66-year-old Woody's been playing the tobacco can since he was 12. He hasn't stopped.
Coming down that railroad line, I know she got on.
Well, how'd you get started playing the can?
I don't know, I just always liked music. And when I was about 12 years old, I was out in the yard singing to beating on an old bucket. And how I come across the can, I don't know, but I started playing it when I was about 12 years old.
What's the key to play a can?
I can't say, I guess it's just rhythm. I just got the rhythm and can play a tune on the can or just about anything, I guess, if it's just rhythm to it. Play those Jelly Roll Blues tomorrow night at Cedar Town Barbecue.
You like that Prince Albert can, don't you?
Kind of like it.
Kind of like it. I do too. In Arab, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. What do W.C. Hardeman,
I enjoy it.
Tina Patterson
It's fun.
and Keith McClendon all have in common?
This is something altogether different.
What the three share is an enthusiasm for a new sport that's quickly growing in popularity across North Alabama: three-wheel motorcycle pulls. A sport that's only in its second year, motorcycle pulls operate much the same as tractor pulls, only with smaller vehicles and a smaller sled.
The man that's riding these things, I mean, you know, he's hunting a hill to climb or something that's, it has to be unusual too. I mean, you know, everybody rides them all over the country and they want to climb the biggest hill or to get up against the biggest thing if they can pull with them or something like it. You got it all right here in the wad.
Most of the wheel pulls taking place are sponsored by non-profit organizations. This one benefited the Asbury Volunteer Fire Department. With the increasing popularity of all-terrain vehicles, it's no wonder there's a sport now suited for the 3- and 4-wheel motorcycles.
This is something that anybody and everybody can get into. You don't have anybody from 3 to 125 can ride them. It don't make no difference. You just hook to it and go.
Just a thrill. Same thing that Richard Petty gets out of getting in his car. That's just what we get out of it.
I'm not saying motorcycle pulls will ever catch on like auto racing or tractor pulls, but right now they have their wheels in high gear. In Asbury, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
I've used my truck for lots of things over the years, but never have I used it to carry such a distinguished load. After a 2-mile trek into Montesano Park on a road seldom used, my guests were ready to depart. Susan Welber, a naturalist at Burritt Museum who's also involved in wildlife rehabilitation, has been taking care of 6 orphan possums since April. This was the day to release them to their natural environment. Susan is one of the few people in our area who is professionally trained to take care of injured or orphaned wildlife.
We take care of animals that are injured or orphaned, and we don't get attached to them because we want to release them back in the wild. So many people get attached to wild animals and keep them as pets, and then they end up dying for lack of proper care. Handling and diet especially are 2 factors in proper maintenance of wild animals.
The young possums were the first animals Susan had received since she took up this unusual sideline in Huntsville.
Well, possums really aren't very smart. They're probably the stupidest mammal that we have in North America, but they have very keen senses of hearing and smell. And they're also very good in their night vision because they're nocturnal animals. Their little black eyes see very well at night.
Susan can receive calls on injured or orphaned animals at the Humane Society or Burritt Museum.
This thing won't bite, will it? Even though the possum is not the smartest or best-looking animal on Earth, he is an essential part of our environment. And chances are you'll probably run into one of these on the highway one day. On Montesano Mountain, goodbye there, little guy. For Country Rover, Jamie Cooper.
That was good.
Girls, ladies, women of all ages, tired of those age-old rollers and curlers? You know, those things that waste so much of your valuable time. Well, if you are one of those I'm speaking of, what you need is the newest thing in hair fashion.
They are literally going to take the place of hot rollers or curling iron. It's just the thing. You've got to have them.
The thing Darlene Vaughn of Cotton Jenny's in Huntsville is talking about is shoe-me shapers, a sausage-looking rubber-coated wire that hopes to replace those curlers and rollers.
They're shoe-me shapers. They shape your hair, and Jamie, they are the latest trend in hair fashions. If you are with it, you have got to have these. They're plastic or rubber-coated wires, and they bend, and the girls are rolling their hair with them.
The shoe-me shapers have only been in this country a few months. Bloomingdale's of New York first introduced them to us. The shapers have been selling like hotcakes in over 300 stores in Germany and England for months. What is it that makes them so popular?
They're just wonderful. They pack easy. You don't have to have a plug. They're just great. You use a mousse with it, and you put it on clean, dry hair.
The shapers aren't exactly cheap. They're $17 and $20 a set, available for those with long and short hair.
Well, I didn't say they were for everyone, but you can put them just about anywhere. In Huntsville at Cotton Jenny's, I'm your Country Rover, Jamie Cooper. Well, how's it look, girls?
Wonderful.
Thank you, I appreciate it. This is the University of the South in Sewanee, Tennessee, a college campus noted for its beauty, and this time of the year, for the way it sounds.
Ready, go.
Almost 3 decades, the campus of the University of the South has been playing host to an internationally recognized music camp. The Sewanee 5-week music camp just this past weekend concluded its 28th season. 200 students this year from all across the country converged on the pictorial campus to practice, perform, and enjoy their favorite musical instrument.
5 weeks, students say that they play more than they've ever played in their lives, and they work very hard the 5 weeks they're here. Their schedule's very tight. They learn a new piece of chamber music each week. They play in an orchestra each week, and they learn about coming onto a stage and sitting down with their instrument and playing, and they learn to read music and to play in an ensemble with other students.
One thing that makes the music camp so successful is that Sewanee, simply stated, is a beautiful place to make music. Later this week, a visit with some local students who think Sewanee is just fine. In Sewanee, Tennessee, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. 39-year-old Pete Cerusi has been the general manager of the Huntsville Hilton the past 6 years. Under the management of Cerusi, the 288-room award-winning hotel has been one of, if not the, finest place to spend the night in Huntsville. But Cerusi is somewhat more of a hotel manager. He's also an unofficial city ambassador, or it seems that way. Pete Cerusi has mingled, talked with, and often became friends with practically every dignitary and celebrity that has come to Huntsville during Cerusi's tenure.
It's Tony Mason. They've got to sleep. They've got to eat, and they need the comforts that one needs on the road.
Cerusi has traveled with the Oak Ridge Boys, palled around with Ali, chatted with the likes of James Mistner, Chom Jones, even Elvis, and more recently had coffee with President Reagan.
And how does Pete Cerusi get along with the president?
Extremely well. The man is very easy to talk to. He's comfortable to be around. He's a professional guest. He stays in a lot of hotels. He knows how to make a general manager of a hotel feel good. I think he likes general managers of a hotel.
What was his one thing that he remembers most about Huntsville Hilton?
He liked the beds. He thought the beds were very comfortable.
By being around so many famous people, does Cerusi enjoy the publicity too?
No. I like to do what I do best, and that's service a guest. And a lot of times that and publicity crosses.
Today is Pete Cerusi's last day with the Huntsville Hilton. Pete's moving to New York and a new hotel chain. I wish him well. In Huntsville, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
It's not a bit unusual to find students standing alone or playing in groups under the shade of an oak tree on the picturesque campus of the University of the South in Sewanee, Tennessee. Lisa Staggs and Lucas Wilson, both of Huntsville, have been the past 5 weeks taking part in a well-known music camp held here each summer.
It's a great experience. I'd recommend it to anyone who likes music. And as long as they're really into the music, they love it, and it's a beautiful place up here.
The music program is great. I mean, there's just no explanation for it.
Lisa spends most of her time playing the harp, Lucas the piano. Students here spend endless hours practicing.
The only way you can experience is to come and experience. It's just really wonderful. The people here, the kids are just, you have everything in common, and so you just get along.
Besides the music students on campus, it seemed everywhere you looked, there was a dog either barking or lying comfortably enjoying the music.
Music dogs, because they're always, going to the chamber music group. They're going between them, and no one cares, at least when they're quiet. They're part of Sewanee. And it's more fun if they're here.
In Sewanee, Tennessee, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
Everyone from Miss America to Mayor Joe Davis took their business to what is probably the most popular place in the new Madison Square Mall. The place that's gotten its end of the new business since the mall opened and without advertising is the public restroom. But where, especially to we weak-kidneyed first-timers, among this million-square-foot mall is the restroom?
I haven't found it yet.
I'd go that way. I don't know how to tell you to get there, but...
You tell me how to get to the bathroom.
Well, you go down there and go straight backward.
I don't know how I've been yet.
Yeah, just come out of one at Castronauts.
There are 2 public restrooms, one on each floor, and each major department store also has one. Parisians even has a diaper changing room.
And on this side is the new ladies' bathroom. Excuse me.
What's it look like in there?
Oh, you don't want me to tell you all of that.
Excuse me, Bozo. You tell me where the bathroom is? That away.
Well, the men's room isn't anything to look at. No fancy carpet, no pictures, not even phone numbers as of yet, just your basics.
So it's not the largest and most elaborate bathroom in Huntsville, but at least you know where it is now, and hopefully you'll be able to find it before it's too late. In the John at Madison Square Mall, under Country Rover, Jamie Cooper. Back to you, John.
Donald Maples is one of those type guys who always wanted something a little different. This time, Maples has gotten just that. There just aren't many folks who possess the largest truck in the world. Since October, Maples single-handedly has been building from scratch Samson 1, a 4-wheel drive monster of a pickup truck. Equipped with some of the largest truck tires in the world, and at $3,500 a piece, some of the most expensive.
It's plain to see that Samson 1 is not your average pickup. And in about a month, when Samson 1 is finally completely done, there will be no doubt in anybody's mind that Samson 1 will indeed be the largest truck in the world.
Maples is banking on Samson 1 to put a damper on the infamous Bigfoot's reign as the biggest truck in the world. Just what will Samson be capable of performing once completed?
It'll actually float once it's finished in the river. You can go across the river if you wanted to. It'll crawl over cars and crush them. And I think it'll even crawl over school buses.
Samson 1 will make his first appearance at the Falkville Mud Bog later this month. He will also be at this year's Huntsville J.C.'s Fair. In Hobbs Island, I'm your Country Rover, Jamie Cooper. 59-year-old Elvin King is not your typical artist. His canvas is a stick of wood, his brush, a chainsaw. Elvin King, the past 2 decades, has been carving his way with his trusted chainsaw into arts and craft shows across the country. At home in the mountains surrounding Sewanee, Tennessee, under the shade of a big oak tree, artist King can be found most any day creating his works of art.
Well, I guess it'd be whittling with a chainsaw. It's the fast way to get the wood off.
How'd you learn how to do something like this?
Just, if people want something, I just go ahead and do it if they keep on after me long enough.
Is it hard to do?
First to you. Somebody said, how'd you learn to do all them different things? I said, if you get hungry enough, you'll learn.
Once King has carved out his subject, his wife Barbara rasped it into a slick product. Using primarily walnut wood, King has been known to make anything from dogs, horses, ducks, turtles, and mushrooms. His most popular item, salad bowls.
Is there anything you can't make?
I don't know of anything.
To some, Elvin King might just be a mountain man, but to others, those who have seen him in action and bought some of his stuff, Elvin King is indeed an artist. In Sewanee, Tennessee, I'm your Country Rover, Jamie Cooper.
Carol Holland, Dr. Kenneth Caulfield, and Carl Crew have one pleasure in common. They enjoy a good smoke, as long as it comes from a pipe.
The thing I like most is the relaxation of it and the flavor of it. And it allows me, a little interval of time if I need to think.
Dr. Caulfield of UAH has been smoking a pipe for 40 years. Not only does he smoke a pipe, he also collects them. His collection is one of the most extensive in the country.
This is probably the most unusual one that I have, in that it is a left-handed pipe.
Carol Holland has been enjoying the pleasure of her pipe for several months. According to Carol, more women than you think smoke a pipe.
Some of the women come in and they say, well, I sneak and smoke my husband's pipe every once in a while, you know. And, I say, why sneak? Let's get you one of your own, you know. And quite often they will buy their own pipe.
Pipes cost anywhere from 79 cents for a corncob pipe to $1,200 for this meerschaum. Tobacco Road in Huntsville has the country's largest collection of meerschaum, a rare form of sea fossil mined in Turkey and hand-carved into expensive pipes.
Preferably, don't smoke. I've got to get my plug in. Preferably, don't smoke. But if you have to smoke, I think it is better to go to the pipe than anything else.
There's an old saying that says, a pipe gives a wise man time to contemplate and a fool something to stick in his mouth. Makes sense to me. Well, a flamethrower. In Huntsville, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. I love a pipe. Nothing like a good smoke.
You like that, huh?
Yeah.
Nancy Blevins doesn't quite fit the image of Santa Claus, yet she could well be the closest thing to him this time of year. Nancy Blevins and her husband Vaughn, with 2 sons in the Navy in 1978, sent 10 sailors a small Christmas gift. This year, the Blevins are sending gifts for 650 sailors aboard 2 ships. Each sailor will receive a bag filled with 20 items, including everything from a cigarette lighter to shaving cream and toothpaste. The Blevins household currently has some 14,000 items waiting to be packaged and sent aboard the USS McCandless and the USS Prudence. The 2 ships, the Blevins, and numerous contributors from North Alabama are sponsoring in this year's Adopt a Ship program.
And our goal isn't for praise, or it isn't for publicity. It's a morale booster to show the boys we appreciate what they're doing and we care.
The Adopt a Ship program is the only one of its kind in the country. September 15th, the items are to be put into individual bags and not opened until the ship's Christmas party. More items are needed.
We need all kinds. We never have enough. Books, we still don't have enough Bibles, the small New Testaments. We'd like to put one in each bag. Grooming aids, playing cards, anything a man could use.
The Adopt a Ship program has not gone unnoticed or without thanks.
Nancy Blevins doesn't receive money for what she does, but she is paid, and her payment comes in this form. The effort and appreciation shown by you gives us extra pride in our mission, and that's what our country stands for. Thank you. Payment enough. In Eva, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
Old Blue's a fine cattle dog, according to Bob Newman, owner of prized Red Angus cattle on his 700-acre Indian summer ranch near Howell, Tennessee. But this story isn't about prized Red Angus or what a fine cattle dog Blue is. This story belongs to Coach, Newman's 8-year-old white Labrador retriever. Coach is no spring chicken, and he's certainly no cattle dog. Coach's moment of glory comes each time Bob Newman starts his truck. Coach has been riding, perched high above the road atop the cab of Newman's truck since he was a year old. I first met Coach 4 years ago. He hasn't slipped yet, though occasionally he too likes to take a break.
Come on, big man. Catch him up a little. Come on. See what he did, look.
What makes Coach want to ride up there?
Well, he can see where he's going for one thing, and it's cooler. But he does that in wintertime, too. You see his shadows, his ears are flopping. No matter how fast I go, he likes riding up on the top. I think mostly he can see where he's going. Right. Oh, he likes to sit up there, puts him in the command position. He can bark at him and feel like he's the big dog. You see particular out-of-town people, they'll look, turn around and look back and watch him. I've even had one come along, wave me down and say, hey, there's a dog on top of your cab there.
I'm sure there are more dogs who can do better tricks than Coach, but when it comes to being seen, well, no one comes close to Coach. Because Coach, hey Coach, Coach is top dog around these parts. Right, Coach? In Fayetteville, Tennessee, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. A dog. A
familiar sight around every fire station is the cleaning of the fire truck. But there's just so much time to spend on washing the truck. Fire station number 4 on Monte St. Ole Mountain, like several other stations in the city, have put their spare time to growing.
Yeah, look at
For the last 5 years, station number 4 has been growing their own vegetables. Working 24 hours on and having 48 off, each of the 3 shifts at station number 4 take turns planning and maintaining the station's pride and joy.
Well, we know to plant it and eat it. That's the first thing you got to do is plant
fresh vegetables. They are very hard to beat.
I'm from the country, and this is what I grew up on.
B.V. Hastings is not only the station driver, but also the cook, and a pretty good one at that.
What's on the menu for tonight?
Okra, potatoes, squash with onions, and pinto beans, and some good old brown corn pone.
Now, the kitchen at Station 4 may not compare to, say, a Twickenham station's, but it is enough to satisfy the hunger of the hardworking firefighters from Station number 4.
I'll say this, if these guys can battle flames as well as they can fire up some homegrown vegetables, we're in good hands.
Yeah, what about a bite of this pepper?
Thank you. Come on, fire! Thanks. We're in Huntsville. I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. You know, it is a pretty good meal, you know.
That is a good meal, a good meal.
Macedonia School, one of the oldest schools in the Jackson County educational system. Also, one of the best preserved, with its immaculate wooden floors and litter-free campus. All of which are owed mainly to Arnold Johnson, the school custodian. 68-year-old Johnson, who lives beside the school, has only been the school custodian the past 2 years, but his loyalty to the school goes back much further. Johnson taught school here for 38 years.
The school is mostly just home. It's a place I've been so long that it was just a little bit hard to just up and leave. And going from teaching to janitorial work, I still could associate with the boys and girls and with the principal and teachers. Just enjoy working around with them and making the school just as attractive as possible.
The school appreciates Arnold Johnson and the job he does. Without him, the school just wouldn't be the same.
His value to the school would be just about like a right-handed man taking off his right arm. That would be about the best way that I could describe his value to Mentone School and Mentone community.
This school meant a lot to me. Me and my family. 5 children, 9 grandchildren.
They all went to school here?
All went through the school here. I taught all of my children, and 2 of my grandchildren. And this is mostly my life has been in and around, or centered in and around the school.
School started Wednesday at Macedonia. Everything was back to normal except Arnold Johnson wasn't there. Johnson died August 6th. Macedonia is not the same without him.
In Macedonia, I'm your country rover, Jamie.
This is Greene County, Alabama. The dirt here is black, and so are most of the people that live here. Greene County is also one of the poorest counties in the state. Yet, Greene County also has its share of wealth, but it comes in the form of cultural traditions. Utah, the county seat of Greene County, where 80% of the residents here are black. Most who live here were raised as farmhands and spent a good deal of their time in the fields. Since 1978, at an annual Folk Roots Festival, these same people of this Black Belt area have been gathering on the Courthouse Square to exhibit and display age-old traditions and crafts that they learned as youngsters.
The baskets that you see, the quilts, are all, I guess, historical artifacts or features in themselves. They tell the story of a people under oppression, but they tell the story of a people who had a strong will, a desire, a faith in God to make this country work for them.
The Folk Roots Festival had a lot of the old and some of the new. Folks like Jimmy Rice, Laverne Hicks, and Will Henley are the ones that possess the real meaning of the festival. Once they're gone, so goes their art. Wednesday night, you'll learn what these gentlemen do. In Utah, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
My supper, and let me go.
Under the shade of a big elm on the Fayetteville Courthouse Square is the one spot where, more than likely, you could catch up on what's happening around these parts. These fellows aren't politicians nor big businessmen. These are guys with a lot of time on their hands and no better place to spend it. As long as the shade lasts, so do the loafers whittling away the day.
Come on over, James.
No, I've been coming up here for a little while. No, if I go back to the kid, it'd be a long time ago.
Fresh air, good company, and a bit of town gossip go hand in hand for those perched on the bench around the courthouse square. But those things are not the most important.
I think the main thing is a good knife. Good knife. A good knife.
Y'all ever look at any women up here?
No, I concentrate on my whittling.
Don't shut his eyes, though.
I don't ever look up when I'm whittling.
You don't ever look up when you're whittling?
When I'm whittling, I don't ever look up. I whittle all the time, too, about it.
So you don't ever look up what's going on around?
No, I miss a whole lot.
You miss a whole lot?
I miss a whole lot by whittling.
What'd you say the name of his bench was again?
Oh, I don't know.
In Vail, Tennessee, after a country rover, Jamie Cooper. What did you call this bench?
Dead pecker thing. Yeah, that's what loafers.
Dead pecker bench.
The annual Black Belt Folk Roots Festival in Utah, Alabama is a one-of-a-kind two-day gathering. Folk Festival is a weekend when the Greene County Courthouse is surrounded by colorful quilts, greens, barbecue chicken, and craftsman-like Jimmy Rice. 75-year-old Jimmy Rice, known throughout the area for his chair bottoms, spends endless hours perfecting a trade that not many these days even care to master.
How many of them do we now?
Why not?
Well, because it's too slow to go.
Will Henley wasn't carrying his lunch in the sack he toted around the courthouse over the weekend. Henley was carrying his claim to fame, a jug.
I don't know, get ready for this thing.
A good jug player?
I used to be. I ain't nothing much now. I ain't too much now. Just about done got too old to blow them things now.
Got a lot of wind.
It takes a lot of wind.
Since he was 8 years old, Laverne Hicks, when he wasn't working in the fields, has been playing the harmonica.
Supper, it let me go to, it let me go to bed indeed, Lord, feed my supper, and let me go to bed.
In Utah, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
Lightning.
Louis Greene has made the 5-minute Coosa River crossing from Hokes Bluff to Tidmore Bend more times than he would like to remember. Greene is only one of a very few who, for a living, pilot a ferry boat. For 20 years, Greene has been operating the Hokes Bluff Ferry, one of 3 still operating in the state. Years ago, ferries were plentiful on the Coosa River. Now, thanks to the modern-day convenience of bridges, the 142-year-old Hokes Bluff Ferry is like a relic of the past in a modern-day world, none of which seem to interest Greene.
I can tell you what I told a reporter. She hasn't dined down yet. She asked me what it took to make a ferry operator. I told her a weak mind and strong back, and it really does it.
Well, you've been operating one 20-something years. Do you like it?
No, I don't.
The ferry, powered by a 25-horsepower Mercury engine, runs year-round except for holidays and high water, and daylight hours only. Tourists love it. Greene hates it. A big-time river pilot he's not. Or is he?
No.
The Hokes Bluff Ferry, located at Mudville, near Hokes Bluff, eliminates a 10-mile drive and is used by just about everyone in and around Etowah County.
Louis Greene says this job's not all that bad, but then again, it ain't all that good either. Besides, he'd much prefer working in the wintertime. The hours are shorter. In Hokes Bluff, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
On this day 75 years ago, Sammy Wright was 19 years old. William Taft was our 27th president. And most importantly, an 18-year-old Eva Wright said, "I do," to the 19-year-old Sammy Wright without ever even getting out of their horse-drawn buggy. 70 of their 75 years together have been spent right here in the same house on their 120 acres in Limestone County. 94-year-old James Sammy doesn't remember much about the day of his wedding, but the day after it's clear as a bell.
Went and got her some pick sacking, carried it home, and Ma sat down and made a pick sack. And the next day she went to the field and went to picking cotton.
What'd you do?
I was picking with her, but I couldn't keep up with her. She outpicked me.
93-year-old Eva remembers their wedding night well, unfortunately.
We went to sleep. Oh, they were drunk.
Does that make you mad?
Well, no, I wasn't mad. I just...
Disappointed?
Disappointed.
Okay.
See it? There it is right there. That's what 75 years of marriage will do to you, give you a bald head, is that right? Mm-hmm. In Limestone County, in your country Rover, Jamie Cooper. Is that right?
All right.
Here in Louisville, Kentucky, this area is noted for its bluegrass and its horses, and also for its chicken. That kind that's finger-licking good, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, they owe it all to one man, and you know him as Colonel Sanders. The bespectacled, goateed figure with the white hair and white suit revolutionized the eating habits of America by simply frying chicken. And though there are over 100 ways to fry chicken, only one satisfied the Colonel, his. Harlan Sanders created Kentucky Fried Chicken when most folks retire, at 66. Until then, the Colonel had been a jack of all trades. Early 1900s, Sanders worked the rail yards in Sheffield, Alabama. Later, he worked on a riverboat and eventually operated a gas station restaurant. It was there he discovered his secret recipe for frying chicken.
The Colonel was the first person to ever fry chicken under pressure. He took a pressure cooker that he was cooking green beans in and filled it half full of shortening, put it on a gas stove with a high flame, put a thermometer in it. When it got up hot enough, he put his chicken in there and put a lid on it.
KFC headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky is also home for the Harlan Sanders Museum. Last year, KFC sold almost 3 billion pieces of chicken in its 6,000 franchises in 51 countries.
Only the good things of life can come by working for them.
Colonel Sanders died in 1980 at the age of 90, but his legacy continues. In Louisville, Kentucky, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. Not in his 6 years of being Sheriff of Lincoln County, Tennessee, had Sheriff Tom Bean ever found one, and you may have never even seen one. A genuine Tennessee Hills whiskey still. It had been over 10 years since the last still had been confiscated in this part of Tennessee. Many years ago, whiskey stills, much like this one, were as popular as pot patches today in this section of the country. Decades ago, the stills, once discovered, were destroyed on the spot by federal agents. Sheriff Tom Bean says this one will receive no such fate and will probably go to the County Historical Society. According to Sheriff Bean, this still was capable of running 80 to 100 gallons of White Lightning a day.
This operated on a diesel. Use it for heat, to heat their water in this steel drum back here. And then the steam circulated through the mash coming out in the steel barrel through cool water, which condensed the steam back down into the liquid. Yes, it was unusual to find it. They had some mash there, and it had been a couple of days. They'd been ready to run some more off. Probably 15 to 20 gallons at times what they ran off from the amount of mash they had.
So you think you put somebody out of business?
Out of a very little business, yeah.
A gallon of moonshine today costs around $30 to $35, and if caught making White Lightning, the charge is only a misdemeanor. Sheriff Bean hasn't made any arrests in connection with the whiskey still as of yet. The only thing he's really sure of right now is no one has showed up to claim it, and they probably won't. In Vail, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. Faye and Bill Morrell, just back from a 2-year stay in Germany, invited me to dinner recently. Well, little did I know it was to be a candlelight dinner for two, myself, and a good-looking, well-mannered cat you might remember. Shandy, the 3-year-old black house cat that eats with a spoon. Faye Morrell spent 9 months teaching Shandy the art of eating with a spoon. The effort was worth every minute.
Oh, I got the idea from my aunt. We lived on a farm, and she had lots of animals. She had dogs and cows and cats and chickens, and she talked to them just as if they were people. So I decided to train cats just to show her what I could do. Oh, she loves to eat. That's one of her main attractions is eating. She has a very good appetite. And that's what makes it good for this type of program is because she has a good appetite, and that's what I was looking for. And when I found her as a kitten, she was a hungry kitty and seemed like she's still very hungry.
Very seldom does Shandy eat a meal on all fours, and seldom do I sit down to a candlelight dinner with any kind of cat.
Shandy's got better table manners than a lot of people I know. And like the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, you might as well join them. Pass me the fork, Shandy. Thank you. Hey, Huntsville, I'm your country rover. Puss in Boots never was my favorite dessert, Shandy. Jamie Cooper. How do you eat this stuff?
Some tags on there if I never
Leon Thames, several years ago, needed to patch a few cracks in his shed. He did, with some siding that's been around, literally. Thames' shed is completely covered by car tags from all over. Ohio to Alaska, New Mexico to New Jersey, with the majority being from Alabama.
We started with a yeller, and I put a row of one and a row of the other and a row of red, and when I got so many stacks, maybe 2, 4, 6 high, and then it started with the same color and laying it back to the top, see.
10 years ago, Thames started his collection by getting a tag from all 50 states in the District of Columbia. The 51 license plates make up a special section on the front side of the shed. Thames' entire collection consists of some 30,000 car tags.
I just started off as a hobby. Just the more I collected, the more I wanted.
Some of the tags are antique, others unique, and some have never even seen the rear of an automobile.
What kind of tags you looking for? Any kind of tags?
Any kind of car tags.
Then they don't have to be anything special?
No, just any kind of tags.
Any kind of tag?
Yeah, I just love car tags.
Even though Thames has the only shed license to drive in all 50 states, he still has one regret. He didn't start his collection soon enough.
Mr. Thames welcomes anyone to come by and count for themselves if they don't believe that he's got 30,000 car tags in his collection. And it might be wise for you to check your car tag just to see if it's still on your car when you get ready to leave. Take my word for it.
Thank you, Jamie, for this tag. You won't need it on your way back to Huntsville.
In Walker County, have your country rover? Jamie Cooper. Well, I might. I mean,
A lot of us have seen chicks, cows, pigs, lambs, and tractors before. But for some 1,500 Coleman City school kids, some of them were actually seeing and touching farm animals and equipment for the first time. As part of Coleman Farm City Week, local farmers set up a farm-like exhibit for kids ages 3 to 11 to experience what farm life is all about.
It's amazing how few children here in the city of Coleman, it being a rural county, has never been in contact with a farm. And this just allows some of the children to handle the animals and just be a part of what's out there on the farm that we take for granted every day.
The kids not only got to hold chicks and actually see them being hatched, but they got to pet the animals, sit on a tractor, and milk a cow.
Oh, you didn't get none. Let's try it again. There you go. You got here. Try this one back here. There you go.
They're calling things by strange names, but they love handling everything, and they want to touch everything and do everything, milk the cow and the baby chickens and the rabbits and the baby pigs. And, you know, it's a feeling thing.
What are some of the questions they ask you?
Everywhere from, do they give chocolate milk? Or do they, how much feed to eat? How much they weigh? About 1,000 different questions.
The only ones that I've noticed that didn't seem to have a good time today are the animals. They're real ham, too, I'm telling you. In Coleman, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper. Well, I'll have you for breakfast in the morning.
Cotton, not too many years ago, was the top crop in Alabama. To Molly Godwin, it still is. Miss Godwin, you see, is a cotton farmer, having successfully grown her first cotton crop in all her 82 years. And Miss Godwin's not the least bit embarrassed by the size of her cotton patch. Well, as you can see, it's far short of an acre, 18 stalks to be exact.
Ain't enough out to keep me busy.
Miss Godwin says she was practically raised in a cotton field, and at the age of 8, picked 100 pounds of cotton a day.
Picked it when I was growing up till I got too old to pick, or they quit picking it, really.
Did you hate it?
No, I loved it.
Why? What is it about picking cotton that you like?
Well, it's just kind of a challenge to see how much you can pick.
Now, why, after a 30-year layoff from cotton, did she decide to grow some?
Just for the curiosities, kind of see it grow. I want to see cotton. I hadn't seen none in years. I just want to see some cotton growing.
What's people said about your patch?
Oh, they made fun of me, laughed at me bad all the year.
What would they say?
That my cotton being such a big patch, and they wanted to help me pick it. Where was I going to find a gin to gin it? Not just a little of everything.
Once Miss Godwin's cotton reaches full maturity, she plans on making flower arrangements from it, and not very many.
Molly Godwin's just as proud of this tiny patch of cotton as she would be of 50 acres. Why? Because she grew it herself, and she doesn't need any help in picking it. In Marshall County, I'm your country rover, Jamie Cooper.
James Luther Jones is a Huntsville businessman of sorts with a penthouse view of downtown Huntsville that is unequaled. Nicknamed Blood from his younger days as a boxer, Jones's home for the past 4.5 years has been the 9th floor of the Madison County Courthouse, the jail. Jones is the only one of the 243 inmates to have his own cell, complete with velvet bedspreads and television. Jones, serving a sentence for second-degree manslaughter, is a trusted inmate. In other words, Jones is the man in charge of everything from supplies to the keeping the jail spick and span, a job he does quite well, but his specialty is shining shoes.
I'm the best. Not bragging, neither complaining. The shoeshine speaks for itself.
Blood's shoeshine stand, located on the 9th floor of the jail, is where Jones puts forth his best effort.
I spit shines the shoe all the way through. Shot shine the whole shoe the same way.
Now you say you don't have to look at a shoe to tell the shine.
No, I don't have to look at the shoe. I can tell from the feel of my fingers.
Jones has been shining shoes 42 of his 50 years. It's a trade he learned from his mother.
Years ago, I was having my mother made me shine my own shoes. Back when I was a little boy. So if I had to shine them right, I had to shine them over again. But a lot of people think you're too good to shine shoes. They think you're better than shining shoes. They think the man shining shoes, they think you're a low man just because you shine shoes.
What do you got to say about that?
And I think different. I took care of family shining shoes.
Jones can't charge for a shoe shine, but donations are appreciated and well deserved.
Come April 24th, 1985, Blood's shoeshine stand will no longer be in the Madison County Jail, but you can bet it will be in the Madison County Courthouse, and Mr. Jones will be charging for shine. Madison County Jail, I'm your country rover. By the way, how much do I get for this shine? Forget it, I'll give it to you. Jamie Cooper.
For the past 18 years, they've gathered on the campus of beautiful Athens State College. They've come to listen, record, and participate. But mainly, they've come to enjoy. Enjoy the sights and sounds of the Athens Old Time Fiddlers Convention.
A fiddle's kind of magical. It's kind of the daddy of all of it's the oldest instrument. I imagine the tunes we play on them are the oldest. It's #1 instrument in the world, I would say.
The fiddle by far now is the most popular instrument of the Fiddlers Convention. After all, it's named after it. But the fiddle isn't the only instrument. Just ask someone like Lucian Boyd.
Can you play that with tobacco in your mouth?
Yeah. I done run 150 harps by blowing the back in them.
84-year-old Carl Cassidy is another one who doesn't play the fiddle, but does manage to master a left-handed banjo, something few have conquered.
He's what?
Wild.
He's wild. You don't necessarily have to be wild to come to the Athens Old Time Fiddlers Convention, but it does help a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Are you wild?
I stay wild.
Come here, I'm gonna get up and get a shot of you. You stay wild.
Yeah.
You like this place?
Yeah, man.
I do too. In Athens Old Time Fiddlers Convention under Country Rover, Jamie Cooper.
Y'all come, and y'all come see us.
There's not another event like it. Where else could you witness something so ugly,
Jimmy, darling, you better get her now!
so loud, so sickening, yet so entertaining as the Boaz Hillbilly Olympics? Face it, you can't and probably won't. The events.
Wife calling, ugliest face contest, hog calling, yodeling, and best imitation of a barnyard animal.
What do you entered in?
Tobacco spitting contest.
No deductions.
Tobacco spitting contest. Rooster.
Now, don't feel bad if you're not as talented as these so-called athletes. Not just anyone competes in games of this caliber.
I believe we would do well worldwide. In fact, we've opened our event up to the entire world. The only problem is nowhere else in the world are there hillbillies but around in these neck of the woods, so that's a problem.
Not only did Tex Pate enter practically every event, but the multi-talented Tex, a songwriter by trade, took time to write a new number between events.
Here comes Danny Cooper, he's a real good trooper. I'm in Boaz, don't you see?
Sports Illustrated never showed up to cover the games, but with or without national publicity, the 1984 Hillbilly Olympics are now history.
I really don't know how to describe the Hillbilly Olympics except to say they're different. In Boaz, I'm your Country Rover, Jamie Cooper. Keep going, keep going. You know what Alabama's best kept secret is? Well, let me give you a hint. It's small, unique, different, and also 100 years old. And I bet you didn't even know. It's right in your backyard. The town of Mentone.
I think it's beautiful.
Ruby Stawley, a lifelong resident of Mentone, just described what most visitors here always say. It's beautiful, and it is. Nestled atop Lookout Mountain in DeKalb County, Mentone, in French-speaking Musical Mountain Springs, has a population of under 500, a few stores, a couple of churches, a deli, a bed and breakfast, and a most notable landmark, the 100-year-old Mentone Springs Hotel. In the early 1900s, the hotel played host to the South's rich and famous who came here to escape the heat of summer and enjoy the mineral springs. Air conditioning halted Mentone's popularity. The oldest building in Mentone is here, inside the St. Joseph's Church. Hand-rubbed pews by George Washington Carver surround the altar, and to the rear, a log cabin built in 1870 is enclosed within the church. Visitors are always welcomed. The doors are never locked. Mentone's newest and oddest-looking citizens have to be the Gordys of Sharon Barron. For Sharon and her Gordys, Mentone is a special place.
It's like stepping back in time. That's what it's always been like to me. It's like everything's slowed down, like the clock stops for a little while.
Starting tomorrow, Mentone begins a week-long birthday celebration. Now, just how do those who have discovered this town find it?
I don't know.
Well, television is one way. In Mentone, I'm your Country Rover, Jamie Cooper.